Do the best you can.
And actually, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because I know me.
You know, so that's our life mission. That's the McKinn's mission.
You don't have to understand my boundaries to respect them.
Well, no, I'm the president and co-founder of McKinn, a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorders.
How do you go about fixing the damage in the trust between the family after you get out?
Like, okay, I gotta work on that. Like,
Celebrating my 6 months. Didn't have a cake.
Yeah.
gosh, you showed up.
They got to do with that. Not the old that. I know the old ones, but not new with that. Yeah, for this graduate, allow us to come in your facility and present a wonderful, short motivational statement that will share your experience, strength, and hope. Though you don't know me, I'm going to follow how the woman do it the way we do it. Share graduate, you're like, yes, you work for this started. This is your house. Come on.
I was sharing with everyone before we went on live that these events have been doing a lot for me, like personally. You know, I've been taking in, like I said, I've been taking in all.
How do you know I'm an old timer in recovery. I've been around over 40 years, clean and sober. But some of you may not know, I've been all over the country and most of the free world speaking in there with privilege. I've been over 44 states speaking at correctional facilities. And very few correctional facilities anywhere will allow folks like us to come in there. And most of you know his journey, but he got a heart. All he cares about, I think, is to care that message to help people. And he means what he says what he means, and he's very good at it. So without further ado, I want to introduce Mark Papa to the group. Come on up, Mark. And I need to remind you all, the donuts are good. Here we talking about the donuts. The donuts are good, for real, country style donuts. You know, the question would be, what is this all about? You know, what is it all about? You know, and it's about you trying to build a life for yourself. You trying to build a life for yourself. I think about me being in the same situation that you. And right away, I started thinking, if they do have a jail inducement, we might take a program to do so. Because that's how I'm wired, man. That ain't how I was wired 34 years ago, but that's how I'm wired now. To give you an example, we talk about the steps of the program. I need to say my name is Marshall Tucker. I'm a person in long-term recovery, which means I have found it necessary to use in 34 years. John in Richmond City Jail 35 years ago. I hitched myself to his wedding, and today I'm a board member of Maxine Foundation. Another class, another class. Then you gotta walk the fight. Man, what fun is that? Man, I love golf. I've been playing golf for 25 years. I love it. So the message is, there's a lot of things about me that I didn't know. There's a lot of things about you that you don't know, regardless of that confidence that you have. There's a whole lot of things about you that you don't know. There's a whole lot of things about me that I didn't know. I had no idea that I was as strong as I am. And Sherry was talking about this man. I mean, I got a couple of members of my family. They just recently came to the church. They stopped eating meat. Somebody else in my family stopped eating sugar, cut down on sugar. I'm still trying. But the discipline that is required to do something like that How many different ways are there to use? Not a whole lot. We don't research that. And it still hit us in the same way. And I hate to tell you, but once you start going to jail because of your addiction, you continue to go to jail. It don't stop. It don't slow down. You continue to go to jail. And the same thing happened to me. I went to jail 7 times. Last year I did 6 years and 3 months. Still trying to stop me. You know? Stop you. You know? And man, it's like when I think about building my life, how I have lived my life, you know, I went through some things, man, that I didn't want to do. And this is a dilemma for me when I was in a place like this. I don't want nobody telling me nothing. I want to do what I want to do. We become our own worst enemies. We continue. I want to do what I want to do. But go ahead. Right back to jail again. You know, I could have, shouldn't have, all the took me. I had a problem with that. But man, this Christmas, man, I got a high I had never experienced before. I got grandkids, man, they came home. They come to Virginia, they want to go skiing. What's wrong with them? 67, 80 degrees in Florida, they would come in and go skiing. And man, they loved it. They loved it. I had to tell you another story, man, about raising my kids, man. When my kids were 10, 12 years old, I used to take them to McDonald's every weekend, every Saturday. And I felt like I was treating them. Once I became an adult, I found out that McDonald's was their favorite place to go. They like to go to Burger King sometimes. You know, but that was just me thinking. I was like, man, I ain't no kids. You know what I'm saying? We talk about this program, that program. I'm just talking about the first step, which is about honesty. Being honest with myself. First of all, I need to know who I am. And aside from being honest, is acceptance. Acceptance. You know, we in jail, you in jail. Man, you can't go out there, man, with a bullshit program and build a life. If you ain't got a good, strong program, you coming back in jail. I remember, man, being at Vermont, and a facilitator told the individual, said, well, what's your game plan? What's your home plan and all that? He explained what his home plan was, and she said, in 30 days it would be better. And everybody thought it was so cruel, and rude for her to say that. Guess what? 29 days later, he was back. You know, he got like a home plan for him, but the boy to PO, go stay in the hotel with his girl until they run out of money. Then what? You know what I'm saying? He was back in jail, you know? Because you got to have a home plan, man. You got to have this thing together right here. You can't go out there with no bullshit plan and wonder why you fail. Then report fingers at other people. I see it right today. I knew a dude right today that's staying in a hotel. When he got out, probably about a month ago, they gave him 2 weeks in the hotel. After the 2 weeks, he was on his own. He calls me. I was like, dude, you know that was a temporary situation. Well, nothing permanent about that. So now you're paying $400 a week to stay in the hotel, right? $400 a week. I was like, dude, you could be staying at a lavish place. For $400 a week, how much is that? $1,600. Something like that. You could be staying someplace nice. But that was the plan that he had when he left here. Him and my girl, we would go to the hotel. That's it don't work. You know what I'm saying? That don't work. Not for any longevity. That's temporary. You know? And I'm just saying that, so why you here, man? If you talking about building a life, you got to work at it, man. Physically, mentally, psychologically, you got to work at it. There's going to be some things that you're going to have to do that you don't want to do. You know, that's first step, honesty and acceptance, right? You don't have a PhD, you don't have a bachelor's, you don't have none of that. For you to come in here and see other people grow, see other people work the program, see other people doing things. First and foremost, when John first came into the recovery 40 years, I have seen her grow, and she has seen me grow. She has written a book. That's a lot of people's aspiration. One day I'm gonna write a book about this thing. You know? She has written a book. And man, what I would say about her is she is the epitome of what recovery is all about. Recovery is about, man.
So for over 15 years now, and I'm a product of the McShin Foundation. So yeah, recovery rocks. I never thought I'd be in the position that I am today when I moved into the recovery house into the heroin. So now this will be up to you guys. So I'm just going to talk a little bit, give a little hope shot, and hopefully get something out of it or forget about it tomorrow. But I'm here to do a job, and what that is spread hope. That's all we really do is show you guys that, not only does recovery ride, but you gotta learn how to heal, from the inside. I'm a big believer that you can put the drugs and alcohol wherever you're doing over here. But I'm a big believer in inner healing. And it's so much more than the word recovery. So I started using drugs when I was very young. I got addicted to heroin when I was 17, like a lot of us. And throughout that process, I hated myself for a very long time. I didn't understand what addiction was. I went to my first, after I overdosed when I was 17, I went to my first narcotics anonymous meeting, which I'm sure you all know what those are. I hated it. Everyone was like 100 years old when I was 17, so I only went to a couple, but I wasn't willing to give up to the people that I was using with. So ultimately I started using, within a couple weeks after my overdose, heroin again. You know, throughout those 9 years of using, you know, I committed a lot of felonies, but I never got caught. Okay. But I did what I had to do, you know, in order to get my drugs, you know, as a human, as a woman specifically, and just as a person that was addicted to an opiate that takes over your central nervous system. So we get to accept, we go through withdrawal. For me, I don't do well with specifically heroin. I truly believe that I was going to die. I had no question. I wanted to die pretty much daily. You know, it was a 3 full-time jobs trying to figure out how to get money, how to figure out how to get drugs. My name was on the street, and I was the biggest liar in the world, so that kind of stuff. But, you know, those last 9 years, because I used for 14 years, but those last 9 years were pretty much hell. You know, it was an existence that I thought people didn't know, or I thought I was cute, but I didn't. And then through that process, I got pregnant with my daughter when I was 21. And I really truly believe, you know, as a mom, as a woman, or be adopted babies, right? So I was in a methadone clinic. I found out I was pregnant, so I refused to give drugs to my baby. So I left, and I was on heroin within 3 days, 3 or 4 days. So for me, my brain, how my addictive brain works, that I have all the answers. I know what's best for me and anyone around me, and no one can tell me any different. So I used my whole pregnancy. She was now called born addicted to heroin instead of withdrawal. And it sucks. You know, the state comes in, they gave me a drug test, they mandated me a methadone, and it was pretty crappy. And even through that, I graduated on paper, but I did every other drug and blood and fake food for 2 years because I didn't understand what recovery was. I understood how to meet with my counselor to check that box. I understood how to go to acupuncture and not out on my methadone. Like I understood I had to do all of those things to keep my kid, even though I couldn't be a mother to that child. I just wanted her. I wanted what I wanted, even though I could not take care of her like a little human should be taken care of. So through that process, it was probably about a week after I graduated the methadone program, I started doing heroin. I treated her horribly, especially when I was dosing. I could not take things towards the end. You know, and I'm very open book. I wrote a book, so I'm an open book about it. It took me a long time to forgive myself for the stuff that I did to that child. Like a very long time. So if you're a parent and I'm telling you it's better, you will heal. You will have some form of relationship with your child. But it does suck and it is hard in the beginning. You know, and I used until she was 5 years old. I went away for treatment. I got shots. I got Jesus. I got all the implants. I got everything, you know, heard of. Now it's so many forms of treatment for a condition. But back then, you know, it wasn't as many. So I did everything that my family wanted me to do, and I did everything that I thought I should do as this child's mother. But I never did it for me, ever, all those times, treatment or whatever you want to call it. I've never dove into like what truly recovery is. And you know, I went away to a place, I met another boy, I ended up falling in lust with him, not love, complete lust. And then I think I was off drugs for a month out of 14 years. And then that relationship we ended up using for a year, and it was bad. My worst year, my 14 years of using, the stuff I did with that with my daughter, it was horrible. And the danger I put her in on a daily basis, mid-process. And my mom was John Shinholder of the Shin Foundation. And it was my last kind of ditch effort of getting some form of treatment, recovery, whatever you want to call it. And I came there, I don't remember, you probably know, I was high, stayed a couple days, and I ran down the road. My boyfriend to get her college, and I went back in for 4 days. And then the day before I moved into McShin was my recovery date, and I had to do since I walked through the doors of the McShin Foundation. And what McShin taught me, and really the peer movement, is you guys, if you have this disease addiction like me, we're all in this together. So living in a recovery house, I had nothing and 2 bags of clothes, garbage bags. I didn't have my daughter, I left her with my mom, and I had a Jeep with a car title on it, and I hid in behind the recovery house every day because they were looking for me. That's it. I walked in with nothing. I hated myself as a woman, as a mom, as a human. McShin, I wanted just to detox and leave after a week with the boy. I ended up leaving the boy on the front step of the recovery house and broke up with him. I ended up living in the McShin Foundation for 5 months. And John hired me, like the next day I was the first official female staff in the McShin Foundation. So I've been working there next week in a few days to be officially 15 years. I'm waiting for my Rolex. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I have learned a lot these past 15 years. Like I said before, recovery is a difficult beast. It is literally a lifestyle. The life that I lead today is because McShin took me under nothing. The life that I lead today, I work my ass off to get where I'm at, for real. Like nothing's really been handed to me. I had nothing when I walked to McShin. Some clothes when I walked to McShin. Came to McShin. And then, from that, I had $40,000 in freaking debt. I got out of my debt. It took 8 years, but I got out of debt. And I got a little apartment. I got back with the boys, and I met in rehab. Yeah, that happened. So, yes, we're 1% nationally that made it. Only 1% nationally that made it to rehab. But it's been a journey. You can read it in my book. But, what recovery has taught me, not only just how to live a life that I never desired living in a recovery house. I never thought I could be a mom to that child again. Well, I was never in the first place. I never thought about the relationship that I have with her today. She will be 21 in 2 weeks. She is in nursing school. She works at a local hospital. And our relationship, we're not only mothers, but we're friends. And that is the gift of recovery. Hands down. I'm not a very material chick. I don't really care about that stuff. But the relationships that you get back, and honestly, the relationships that you build that you never in a million years thought you would have, that's what recovery is to me. Being able to be her mom and she's buying her first car on her own Tuesday, I have to help her kind of a little, but not anything that my parents, if they didn't do. I was full blown on drugs at her age. I was pregnant. I was addicted to heroin. To be able to be her mom, that's the biggest gift for me in recovery. And throughout all of these years, being a female leader, that has had its challenges. That has definitely had a lot of things that I've had to overcome to reduce that, not just negative outlook of addiction, but being a female in a role as a CEO in a field that is male dominated. I think I've dropped down that glass ceiling a lot in that area, and I teach other women at McShin that we hire how to do so as well. So it's not just about, okay, you don't do drugs anymore, okay, you get your kids, you get your house, you get your car, you get your job, you have all that. It's teaching that next person how to do so, because that's how the world goes around. No matter if it's recovery or not, if this world had a little bit of recovery and every human internationally, this whole world would be a different place. But recovery is love. It's teaching, it's healing, it's love. It is helping that next person that comes behind you and taking away the selfishness of all the years for me that I was focused on drugs and hurting people in my life. Being able to be a wife, the boy I met in rehab is my husband, we've been married 12 years now. We have a son that's 13 years old, plays 3 sports, being out on a baseball field, sweating my ass, that's a gift. These are gifts. These are literally gifts from coming from a recovery house to seeing my son do what he loves and have the money to pay for that shit. That's so expensive, that travel stuff. Those are gifts. right? But the only way I got to where I am today is my self-healing, period. Self-healing, really taking a look on the human that I am, not just what my disease is. Like, really understanding what I want out of life. You know, we only have this one life. I don't know about y'all. I'm sure everyone in here has known someone that overdosed and died. Like, this shit ain't no joke. People are dying. Not coming back to this world. So why not try to be the best person you can be in this world? You know, I instill that in me, my staff, and my children, because they're the next generation. My kids have been raised at a gym. They're taught a lot of things that their friends, weren't taught or aren't taught, because it's important for me and my husband, because he's in recovery, to teach them life skills, because this shit is real, right? And to be able to wake up every day, and then dogs, like he was sitting there, my children, I don't want any more regular human kids, so I have 2 dogs, and the little things that I focus on just with my dogs, I have to be grateful for, right? And I don't know, like, I'm a best-selling author of a book. I know the girls got some. And I'm very, very proud of it. It took a long time, it was very stressful, but I did it. And it's not even just about me, it's showing other people that reach out to me how to do so. So I take the time, I give them the information, and I move on, I believe everything that we do is for a reason, it's to help someone else. I truly believe that. I don't know, my life box around, and you can do it too. That's what I'm really big, and me, like if I can do it, you can do it too. You've heard where I came from. We don't have all day to read my book and get more details. I'll put you some more if you need them, but man, the life, the possibilities that you can have from just not using drugs, alcohol, whatever. And forgive yourself for the stuff that you've done and active addiction. And even maybe recovery too. Like, we have to move forward. We got to learn from that. We can't just sweep it under the rug. You've got to learn from all your choices that you made. But you can make some awesome ass choices in recovery. Like, for real. And, I guess the biggest thing I leave you with is really some tools to learn how to love yourself. Really just take a deep dive. While y'all, I know the Rise program is awesome, assuming y'all are all in it. But there's a deeper dive you can do on your downtime instead of the old behaviors with baby daddies, with sugar daddies, with sugar mamas, and all this stuff that we do. Really focus on yourself, because you can really want this and have an amazing life. And I, again, have built a life for 15 years, and it's taken me time to build what I have. My own home, so many things, because I'm willing to learn about myself on a day-to-day basis. And I don't do it perfectly at all, but I do it pretty damn good. And it's because I was taught, and other people teach me how to do it. So, wow, recovery rocks, If you don't want it, I don't know what everybody else to say, because it's a beautiful life. It's a life that you could never even imagine sitting in. Never. You may think you know what you want right now, but I promise you it's 10 billion times better what you really work on your soul and really have longevity of recovery, man. I mean, it really does, but, peace. Now he works somewhere else, and he can talk about that. But he definitely has a message of recovery, and has learned so much about himself, and also taught me so many things as a human on how to love everyone. So with that, I give you the intro.
Best-selling author. That is really freaking cool. Hey everybody, my name is Nathan. I'm an addict. You know, I'm a person in recovery from a substance use disorder, and that means a lot to me, and I hold that dear, but, you know, I'm talking to you all, and I think it's just more important for me to say I'm mad. It's a better way for me to connect. Skills don't go away. I just use it for different things now. God willing, I will have 5 years on February 18th, 2023. That is because this is the time, you know, I have a brain that does all kinds of things, right? But this is the time when I'm replaying what was going on 5 years ago. When I was at the end of my using. During the holiday. And I had at least 3 guys, you know, ready to go. Yeah, you know, right? I had to have the money for it, or at least I had to be able to finagle and make sure that I had the credit for it, you know, right? I had to be somewhere where it wasn't cold because it was December, right? I was living on the street at the time, which is kind of funny because I had a really good high-paying job at the time in DC. So the insanity of my disease at the time, let me take you back a few more years before that. 2016. I'm 40 years old in 2016, right? And it's October 31st. It's Halloween, right? Early morning Halloween. We get pulled over at my first interaction with the law, my first arrest, my first legal consequences of my youth. Now, I've been doing other felonious acts for a long time. Don't talk about it. But up until that point, I had never had an interaction, right? I thought water was what? Now, you know, I can argue maybe I'd been luckier if I'd gotten caught earlier. Who knows? Who knows? Right? But I am where I am, right? That's where I am. Right? You know, I'm thinking I'm going to cruise through, get through that. I have to go on pre-trial for a couple months. You know, we try to contest some of the things that happen because the way the cop pulled us over and this and that and the other, right? You know, I'm a manipulator, right? And so it takes like 4 months before, you know, we do anything. I'm on pre-trial for a long time, right? And I'm a clean-cut white guy. I know my place, right? Like I can put on a shirt, I can put on some slacks, and you can imagine I was probably about 60 pounds lighter because I was heavy and using at the time, right? I can walk into a place and manipulate that situation pretty easily, you know. And I did that with my PA, my pre-trial officer, all the time. You know, to the point where I could call up and say, "Hey, I gotta work. I can't see you today." Thinking, I've lost 35 pounds in front of you over the last 4 months. I'm about to get high as soon as I walk out this doorway in the car and I'm about to pass back to the asses. And she said, "Look at how well you did." That's when I started. That's when I got rid of my first offenders. I kept using it. And then eventually I had a warrant, I had to turn myself in. We were just talking about turning myself in. I had to turn myself in, get that last hit before I turned myself in the parking lot of jail up in Proctor County. And I go to jail. I spent 17 days, 18 days. Like I didn't have a long time, right? It's the first time. You know, it's a possession charge. You know, I go in, I finally get to my trial, you know, and I get slammed with the felony. Right? All right. Well, my mom looks at me when I get out of there. She says, well, Nathan, is this a problem or is this just something you did recreational? Oh, it's something I did recreational. Well, so let's fast forward like a year and a half, because I'm using hard, right? You know, I've been using for decades of my life. But this time, man, I'm just, I don't know, man. I just sort of have the green light to keep going, right? Because now I'm pissed off. Everybody else has a problem except for me. You know, the law has a problem. You know, the jail has a problem. Everybody has a problem except me. Fast forward again, it is now 5 years ago, December of 2017. And I've manipulated my way into a job working downtown DC at a catering company. That's what I was talking about, catering. With a catering company, right? I had worked with this woman years before. I screwed up with my drinking back then. And I came back to her. She didn't check my background. She didn't know I had problems with the law. She didn't know I was on probation at the time. And all that stuff going on. And I'm working these events. I've got Supreme Court justices downstairs in his office doing events and parties. I'm upstairs in my office doing what I do, coming down there with this security, and then by the way, I had absconded again on probation, so now I got a warrant for my arrest. That's the insanity of the disease for me. Turns out that's not sustainable. I got fired from that job. And what do you do when you get fired from a job and you got a warrant for your arrest in another state, and you got a big check of about $1,500? What do you do? Was that? Yeah! You try to flip that. Yeah. That's what I thought would be the thing to do, right? Listen, I'm not saying I've definitely done what I've done in the past, but this was like, all right, I guess I'm going big time now. I didn't even last the night. I got picked up that night. And I'm forever, I'm forever grateful for that. Because for me, that wasn't a road that was a road I was about to go down again and go down farther, but that's not a road that I was about to have to go down. But the point is at this point, when I got arrested that second time, hey, that thing is going. How's that? I don't know. You just do whatever you need to do. You know, I didn't want to exist at the time, but I was just too chicken shit to office. I don't know, right? So of course I get, I spent 3 days in DC, and of course I get sent back to Virginia, back to Warrenton, Pocket County, right? And I get into the first little block that they got, right? And I sign up to get out at every point I could. You know, the AA, I'm good at AA. I wasn't looking for recovery necessarily. I just wanted to get the heck out of that room, right? You know? Well, this is what turned out for me, right? I kept going into these rooms and I'm looking at these people laughing. 3 minutes? All right, I'm trying to do it. So
get calculated noise, but he's a hell of a man. He's a good man. He's got a great message. So how about a warm welcome to my friend Walker, man. Appreciate it. I didn't understand why I got to pay 10% of my income and give an offering. I was able to stop, but I couldn't stay stopped. You know what I mean? It's like I always went back home, around the same people. You know what I mean? I got the hustle, so I could stop. I couldn't stay stopped. Because the second part to that really helps me, man. So once you stop, the second thing you gotta do, you got to lose that desire to use. I thought if you stop, automatically you lose the desire. No, it don't happen like that, man. You gotta lose the desire. Certain people, certain places, certain things that you used to do, you really got to change those things, man. I can't get out and call Buck Duke up no more and say, yo, man, you good? I can't. I got to change that conversation, man. I got to change the phone number. There's a lot of things. That is finding a new way to live. Come on, man. How do you do that? How do you find a new way to live? One thing I'm grateful for the Machine Foundation, Machine Recovery Community. One thing I'm grateful for, when you come out of treatment or you come out of jail, you come out of being institutionalized, they have a recovery community, right? That helps plant you, right, and find that new way to live. Now, they ain't gonna guarantee you a job, no, that ain't what they're gonna do. But they may help you find one. They may help you connect with some resources in the community that have that holistic approach. Because they know the same clean must come first. You know, one of the greatest things that happened to me being in recovery, man, it was after a relapse. I was clean 2.5 years, man. And I tell you, during that time, man, I was able to do some of the things that, see, I want to do who played high school sports. You know what I mean? My grades weren't good. I mean, I failed ninth grade 3 times. You know, my mom kept me in school because the last robbery charge I had, the judge told my mom when he graduated. Ain't no if. When he graduated, he's either going in the military or he's going in jail.
So y'all already know what happened. I graduated. I went into the military. I wasn't a favorite. We were like favorite jail. That wasn't my favorite. So I went in. So look. Even after getting put out of the military, because I still couldn't stop getting high. You know, I went over Germany. You know, I'm smoking so much hashish and blood acid and come on, man, purple microdax. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. And look, man, that's how we live, man. We hustle over there. We got the cigarettes. You know, you get 4 cotton and you can buy a cotton for $5 and sell for $25. Start doing black market. I mean, that's how we live. If the hustle in you, if that's what you do, that's what you will do, right? But I never had an opportunity, you know, to play sports and all of that in high school, man. But here it is, I get in recovery. Hey, check my mom. I get in recovery, right? And that kid right there, Marshall said before I got here, right? But Marshall, look, they had this flag football team called, what was it, the Black Hawks, the Night Hawks? The Night Hawks, man. Everybody from the Richmond community, man, you know, flag football was a thing, man. You know, so here it is, I'm in recovery, man. I'm like 6 months clean, you know, and back then I was 26 years old, man. I was young in recovery at that time, man. You know what I mean? And I got to come to recovery football team. I got to play with softball team. John, they had a softball team. I got to play. All those things I couldn't do growing up in high school, man. We started doing those things to recover, man. But this is the thing, man. Social acceptability don't even recover, man. You know what I mean? We go bowling, we go to eat, you know what I mean? We got LA dances, you know? We got a basketball league. I mean, all of this happened in recovery, man. So I found a new way to live. But what happened, I didn't tap into the recovery, right? But I was just sharing with you guys what we call what? Social acceptability. Hey, Bobby, social acceptability don't even recover. But I'm telling you, staying clean must come first. I stayed clean. Listen to this, man. It's important. I stayed clean for 2.5 years, right? But then I relapsed. And that relapse could be a God experience in your recovery. I wish I was one of the ones who picked up one light PTA. That ain't my story. I relapsed, man. After 2.5 years clean, man. And I tell you, man, you talk about making it back. Because when I relapsed, I picked up where I left off. I had $2,200 on me the night I relapsed. I was supposed to want to buy the kids to school clothes. But what happened, I went back to the neighborhood, and who did I see? I saw Bump Fruit. And you know the conversation. Come on, y'all know, yo, what's up, man? You good? And that's how we talk. When you get in touch with this recovery, you don't go on the street to talk recovery. You talk to life in the kingdom. So that's how we talk, man. And I saw it that night, man. And I tell you, honestly, check this out. It took me 3 days to smoke $2,200 up with $10 pieces, $15 pieces. But this what happened. Yeah, woo. Yeah, this what happened. I ain't got no amp, I ain't got no quarter, I ain't got no 8-ball. When I relapsed, I picked up where I left off at. I'm the dude that always bought $10 pieces, $7.26 pieces, whatever I could get my hand on, man. So even though I had $2,200, I wasn't the dude, right, who went back and bought a pack. That ain't no story, man. But I tell you, that was September the 2nd, 1995, man. Through God's grace, I made it back to the recovery community. And since September the 2nd, 1995, I haven't picked up a drink or a drug since that time. That's the plan. I'm talking about what the recovery community has done for me, man. I remember when the Machine Foundation, when God gave John the vision, and the Machine Foundation was created, and I watched a lot of these people come through and find a new way to live. There have been pathways of recovery, man. And one thing I'm real grateful, I know we got some more speakers, so I'm not going to hold you guys too long. But one thing I'm real grateful that happened in the recovery community, right? After I relapsed, it was people like Marshall, it was people like John who poured into me. And this is they told me, don't forget, I'm the guy who failed ninth grade 3 times, right? I'm the guy that did graduate at the age of 20, right? So my comprehension, even saying my pronunciation, word ain't all that good. But this is these guys they told me to do. And honestly, they told me
got no self-value. I ain't got no self-esteem. I don't even feel like I belong. Because I lost 2.5 years. But those guys were the ones who told me to go back to school, man. They said, go to school, make a meeting, and then this is what they said. They said, go to church. I said, go to church. But there's been a pathway to recovery, man. I remember when I first went in treatment, I went in with my Bible. You know what my therapist told me? He said, leave your Bible in the room. We know you know about the Bible, but you don't know anything about staying clean. So leave that in the room, man. And I struggled with that, man. But I took on their suggestions. And I went back to school. And don't forget, again, I'm the guy who got lack of comprehension. It took me 16 years. I want y'all to hear this, man. But this is a big story. It took me 16 years to get a 2-year degree, man. Okay, you ain't got to laugh, you ain't got to clap, but I got a degree. It took me 16 years to get it. That's the clap. That's the clap. Not only did I stay in school, man, right? And I got a substance abuse certification. And then I got a substance abuse license. And then I got my PMHP, that's part of my mental health peer professional license. I stayed in school, man. I kept going to school, man, I'm telling you, man. And I kept going to church. And so this is what happened, man. My pastor at church, he licensed and ordained me as a minister. I'm the guy who used to come on stage. I'm the guy who used to put that hand on females, right? I'm in that third murder. I got 2 divorces. The last time I got locked up was 21 years ago. I was 6 years clean, but I still had that addictive behavior, man. And I tell you, since today at 6 o'clock, I gotta go and do a wedding rehearsal, because I gotta do a marriage for a couple who get married, and I'm doing marriage counseling. I'm talking about how God will take your mess and make it into a message, man. You gotta call us to God. One thing I'm grateful for the Sin Foundation, not only did the Sin Foundation have great care talk, right? That's a program that honors the lead care talk. Thank God that's right here. They also created a program called Breaking the Bondage of Addiction Ministry, right? And what we do at Breaking the Bondage of Addiction Ministry is a 12-step ministry, man. Every week we go on one of the steps, and there's a Bible scripture that comes on the step. So I let people like Jerry, I let people like Bob, they'll come up and they'll share their story on the step. There's a Bible scripture God has given me that come on each step. And we begin to talk about the Bible scripture, man. And you talk about, I'm the person who knew church didn't work. But I'm talking about, when you talk about a spiritual foundation, when you talk about non-denomination ministry, this is the stuff that the Sin Foundation has done, man. They have opened doors for a recovery community to whatever your pathway is, man. Even if you need medicated assisted treatment, man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here. I'm excited. It took some emotion. I just ain't get here. It took something for me to get here, man. I'm telling you, man, it takes something for you guys to be here, man. Don't think God don't roll from recovery, man. Just remember, whatever's in front of you will soon be behind you if you just don't use. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Now, here we go. Hello. How about a round of applause for that? All right, our next speaker is perfect timing. She's someone who preferred today and walks. She definitely loves Jesus. And she works for Mission. She actually still lives in one of our recovery houses. You know, she's family. Our staff, not blood families, but we're definitely family. You know, everyone that works at Mission. And you know, we wanted to set a fun, safe environment. So she is our queen of Christmas. We just had a killer holiday season at Mission. You know, showing our participants that they can be drug and alcohol free during the holidays and have an awesome life. So with that, I give you Barbie. I don't think it's on. Then preach it.
Oh, there we go. My name's Barbie. I'm a grateful.
It was.
I'm grateful, not today. I am grateful. I'm grateful to be alive today. I've only been clean like over 15 months. My desire has not left. But I want to do what I feel like that though. I sit with people like these people here. And I work in recovery, so that helps me. I'm an house leader and I've got girls that look after me, which is employees drive. I'm a driver. I'm a town driver. Because I'm so grateful today that I don't have to get home.
Give her a nap.
I'm a facility manager. I'm not allowed to say that. Is that better, John? All right. I'm just, I love you to be well. I actually want to leave 28 days in, and I went to break with the body. Something Walter said made me want to stay. I'm still here today. Like I said, I'm grateful. I get up every day, and I know God's got a purpose for me. He's got to back me up. If you don't have a purpose for me, you wouldn't be here. I've got a purpose for each and every one of us today. I'm not like a long time speaker. I don't even speak occasionally.
Yeah.
Speaking of me, that's the people that I've seen around. I'm from Ohio. Like I said, I've been in Ohio 43 years. My youngest son said, you're going to go live with my oldest son. He said, you're going to go live with Brian. So I moved to Hampton. He's in the Navy. And I was clean for a while, but I started using, and he found me overdosed in the garage. And they Narcan desanitized, put some paddles to me. I didn't come to, so they're telling me there's nothing else that they could do for me. So the ambulance was blown away 7 times, Narcan 7 times. But as the ambulance was blown away, I came to, so that I remember the paramedic telling the driver to back up to show my son that I was alive. And when I opened the door, I seen the look on his face. I don't care to ever see that again, but my son, I raised my kids in my fiction their whole life. But I got 6 grandkids that I don't want to see me like that. So I'm doing my best, and I'm finding out who I am today. I love who I am today. I promise you wouldn't have loved me 15 months ago. I was a liar, cheater, thief, been in and out of jail, been in and out of rehab. So this time I'm doing it for me. Yeah, I love who I am today. Geez, I'm about out of words. I don't know what else to say. But it does work if you work it. If you got to work it up here, it's great. I do all pathways in Jesus. I was like water. I couldn't do it on Jesus alone. So I chose to do AA. I worked the AA steps. Now I'm working the healing steps in a different sponsor. So. Okay, that's all I got. I love you guys. I told you she was going to cry. All right, our next speaker here, I don't know him very well, but I know he works in the recovery community, and I'm trying to learn more about him and his journey and the pathway that he takes for his recovery. So with that, I give you B.W. Sprout.
Alrighty, my name is B.W. Maddox. So I'm a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorder, and my clean date is November 18th, 2020. So So I don't like talking in front of a lot of people, so I'm just gonna tell you I'm nervous. But that helps me out, right? So I used to sit in one of these chairs right here, right? Like 4 years ago, I was sitting right here in the RISE program at Henrico East. So the hope shot is right, like one day when you're not sitting in these chairs, you can be a guy coming back in here giving the message. The message is that an addict, any addict, can stop using drugs, you should lose the desire to use and find a new way to live, right?
Thank you.
So for me, I started using drugs when I was like 12 years old. First time I was ever introduced to any substance with alcohol when I was 8. It was introduced to me by my parents. So my dad went to prison when I was 9 months old. My first 18 years, he was incarcerated. My mother, she is someone who struggles with addiction herself. So pretty much I learned how to grow up at a real young age. When I was 12 years old, I started using marijuana. I used it to fit in, right? Like, I never felt accepted. So I felt when I started using drugs, like it gave me a reason for people to like want to be around me or like me, right? And like that's really what it boiled down to begin with. Didn't know that I was gonna start obsessing and compulsing over these things, right? So like it went from using marijuana to drinking to skipping school to failing 8th grade. I went from being an honor student to failing 8th grade, and then high school started and I made it one semester. I was a juvenile felon, so I was given the option to either to graduate when I was 21, and I took the easier, softer way, which was the GED. From that point forward, I started drinking, and I really wasn't using any hard drugs until I became about 18, 19 years old, and I had like my first major traumatic event, right? I lived with my aunt, she was my caretaker, and I can remember it was Christmas Day, 2008, and she was addicted to painkillers. At this point, I was just starting to dibble and dabble, and she gave me some money to go get her some prescription painkillers, right? And so, long story short, I brought them home. She overdosed that night, and the next morning I found her dead, right? And so at that point, like I really had to grow up, and it was like I did not want to accept any responsibility for anything that was happening in my life, and I started using harder drugs. Got locked up for my first time, and I did a year. I came home, and I was introduced to my dad. And in 2013, I was introduced to painkillers and addicted to them. Within 2 years, I was addicted to heroin. Within 2 weeks of doing heroin, I was shooting up. And so I just want to say, like, I had 2 kids throughout this process in addiction, and I met the love of my life, right, my daughter's mom, who's passed away now. She overdosed this year, February 15th. So, like, we went through a whole addiction together, right, and, like, we got clean together, and, so I know I don't have a lot of time, so I don't have to give y'all the whole rundown, right, but long story short, my last arrest was November 5th of 2020. I was arrested. I went to West, and I was bonded out to our RCO named True Recovery, and I've been clean ever since. And my clean date's November 18th because like jail wasn't enough to make me stop using. I was clearly still getting high at West. But so yeah, got out. I came to a meeting and I did what they told me to do, and I took the suggestions. I got a sponsor. I got a home group. And I didn't really have a higher power at first, but I made my home group my higher power. And there was 2 old timers that was in the meeting, and they told me to just give myself a chance to stay. And thankful because of them and like me taking the suggestions, like I'm able to be right here to give y'all this message, right? But like I want to tell y'all like the good stuff, right? Y'all heard some of the mess. So in the last 2 years, like I've been able to get my license back for the first time in 10 years. I've been taking off all state probation for the first time in 10 years. And I started college, right? Like I'm in my 3rd semester. Like I work for an RCO. Like I deal with over 100 and some men on a daily basis, right? And like the message is like we can do it, right? Like it's simple, and like but we can do it. Like Barbie just said, like, it works if you work it, right? But the thing is, like, it works even if you don't. It just won't work for you. And with that, I think that's all I got to share. So let's go ahead and share.
All right, our next speaker, he is an alum of McShin as well. We definitely love to hire our people. So McShin, probably 92% of our staff, and we have 30 staff now, have lived in our housing. So they're alumni of our program. So it's really special to us to hire our people. So with that, I give you Jared Barton.
Hey y'all, I'm Jay, I'm an addict. I've been through the RISE program 2 or 3 times. Right now I've got a little over 21 and a half months training. I do work the program, I work 12 steps of NA. I have a sponsor. I've tried getting clean many different times, tried to do it on my own, tried to work the program. Tried to do it without God in my life, without being open-minded. But this time, like in recovery, I came to McShin originally in 2018. Worked the program, stayed about 9 months, got a relationship, got a house, moved out, and 2 days shy of 21 months, I picked up and used relapse. Smoked that day, nothing like too hard. I beat myself up with the regrets and things I had from using, but I picked up and used that day because my sister had been dead from an overdose 4 years at the time. And I didn't know how to deal with like my emotions on that. And me and my sister used together, and I was one of the last persons she used with. So like, I still like, not like hold on to it, but still like beat myself up. My dad was an addict, my sister was an addict, my mom's an addict. So it was hard in my family. I always thought using, smoking weed, and drinking was like a normal thing. I just thought every household did that. I just, I felt normal when I used. I found out I had scoliosis when I was 13. I couldn't participate in like physical education, like things like that. So I started using then to like try to fit in, to like try to find my group of guys to feel like I'm normal. And I used all the way up until I was 38 years old and tried recovery the first time. Like when I was in the RISE program, like I came here like to swap out, canteen and do different moves. I wasn't listening to the program. I wasn't reading no basic text. I wasn't trying to follow the steps. I wasn't trying to do all of that. And I just realized this time, it took me honestly working the steps. When I got to step 4, I was able to like free myself and free the burdens of things like my sister passing away, or one of the last times I used in my relapse, I had a best friend of mine do 9 years, 7 months, came out and used, and I found him dead from an overdose. So I've been through a lot of the traumas and things like that, but I continue to be a better person than I was yesterday. Continue to stay in the Narcotics Anonymous book. Anytime I'm feeling rough, feeling sad, or even feeling good, I reach out to somebody. I make sure I connect to somebody, talk to somebody about it. As a man, it's hard for me to talk to another man about like how I'm feeling, or what I'm getting ready to face, or like what I'm going through. But I just found like my sponsor, he's been with me for a little over 4.5 years now. He's never given up on me. I've overdosed 14 times. I picked up like 9 white key tags. Hopefully I don't ever pick up another one. But I just try to be better than I was the day before. I try to give back to somebody. I try to stay like open-minded, definitely stay honest, work the program. Tuesday nights I run Hope and Healing Group at McShin at 7 o'clock to tell others like the traumas and things that I've been through and what I do to stay clean. And it's a smaller group. We can open up in there. We can talk about what we've been through. We no longer have to feel the shame or regret or the remorse we once had. I'm a father. I had my first kid at 17 before I even graduated high school. My dad told me when we found out she was pregnant that if I didn't make her get an abortion, then I had to move out. So we had the kid a week before I graduated. A week after I graduated, we got our own place. So I had to learn to grow up quick, learn to take on responsibility quick, learn to be a man quick. And from watching my father's footsteps, I thought a man was selling drugs, doing whatever you had to do to get money in the house and take care of things. But he never taught me how to be a father. He taught me how to sell drugs, move things, things like that. So it took me a long time to realize not only how rough having a kid was, but how to be a real father in that. And then just going through different things, and the marriage didn't work out 4 years after being married. We had to file bankruptcy. We were both cheating on each other. The relationship didn't work out. It was lust, not love. It was a tough pill to swallow. And right after that divorce is when I started using cocaine really bad. That was the first time I tried it. And then it was in and out of the RISE programs, Henrico East, Henrico West, for Monkey. And each time when I was in here, I ain't going back out there to that. I got to change my people, places, and things. But once I was out there, I always picked up. I always jumped back in the same crowd again. But like I said, I originally tried to get clean in 2018. I went into Rubicon, which is now RBHA, did the whole program. Came to McShin, learned a lot. And what I learned when I relapsed is I didn't try to pick up the phone. I didn't try to reach out. I didn't try to call nobody to help me change my mind from picking up that day. But I don't beat myself up for it. We're addicts. We're human. We just try to do better each day. But this time, like I said, I really work a program. I really reach out when I need somebody. I open up. I share my feelings. I'm not ashamed to cry in front of somebody if I need to, if the pain gets great enough. This Thanksgiving and Christmas was really good. I stayed clean, but I also stayed at the chin. I stayed in the center. Because after my sister passed, I really don't have a good connection with my mom anymore. My nieces don't talk to me. My kids don't talk to me. And that hurts, but I know as long as I stay planning around my NA members, my network, my McShin team, that I'm going to be just fine. And always remember, this too shall pass. Whatever you're going through is going to pass. So I just stay strong. When the things are going good or tough, I pray. My higher power is God. That's what I use. I don't read the Bible as much as I should, but I try to watch something religious every morning for 10 to 15 minutes. Then I go into something inspirational on YouTube for 10 to 15 minutes. Try to go to the gym, and then I start my work day. And try to eat healthy. When I came to McShin this time, I was 167 pounds. Yeah. I had one duffel bag. I had on a jogging suit that I had brought with me that if I was wearing for 2-3 days. I was staying down Petersburg in a motel down there, and I just got so sick and tired of using. I sat on the curb and prayed. I was either show me purpose or take the right, one or the other. And it was probably 30 minutes after that, my ex called for some reason to check on me. And she said, why don't you let me try to get you some help? And let me bring you back to Richard. And the next day I was at the McShin program. Like I said, I've been there 21 and a half months. I'm a house leader there. I'm a staff there. I'm a computer recovery specialist there. I help with the Holy Healing Group. Today, I signed a 1-year lease at a new house. This is the first time I've signed my own lease since I was 18, trying to have a kid and do the next right thing. So it took me that long to get back on my feet, to trust myself, to believe in myself. This time it took me a true 16 to 18 months to get to know myself and look in the mirror and say I love myself. I like myself. I'm okay with my past. It is what it is. God's forgiven me. I gotta forgive myself. And things are gonna be okay because you gotta keep believing in something. I feel like I have purpose. I look for more purpose. Thinking about going back to school. I have my license now. I have the right to vote now. I'm not on any probation any longer. Yeah. And last year, even with the year clean, I had to go back in and do some jail time when I relapsed in 2020. It was an overdose, but it caused me to violate probation for 9.5 years ago. So like, I was upset with that, but I understand there's a process. There's a reaction to all my actions. And luckily, like I got through that, came back out and still having the same clean time. So I wish y'all the best. I hope y'all find a program, find a God, a higher power, find what you believe in, keep it moving, don't pick up no matter what. Believe in yourself and just reach out, talk to somebody when them feelings and urges come on. Thanks for letting me share.
Good job, Jared. All right, a couple things also. If you know anyone that needs a grieving group, we do it Zoom and in person. So that's Tuesday nights at 7, but the Zoom is on our website and our social media. So just throwing that out there. It's a great grieving group that Jerry runs. So if you need it when you get out or when you have access to Zoom. All right, our last speaker here is a little nervous. He had a Red Bull and a cup of coffee. Woo! So he's going to be sweating up here. And he is an alum of McShin. The first time I met him, I signed some paperwork. I'm a notary, so and I said, crack is whack. And he hadn't smoked crack since. So with that, I give you Rice.
Addict named Rice. I'm grateful to be here, my story started about 4 years ago. I've never been in jail before. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to say I'm better than you. When I came in recovery, I didn't want anybody to take my picture. I didn't want anybody to know that I'm in recovery. I thought I was just going to come in here. I had an issue. I need to fix it. Go on my way. Before I picked up, I had a large business. I was a realtor. I had a lot of real estate. I had over 100 people